There's a lot that goes into every advertising campaign, and probably a lot more that should. How does an advertising agency think about radio? How important is the concept of frequency? We decided the only way to find out was to set up a real-life situation and take it from there. The finest advertising minds in Australia come together under the name Smoulder and Blaze, the one advertising agency that consistently wins more new business and more awards than any other. Their client list is a who's who of Australian business. Their staff are gifted and loyal. Their prestigious client list includes the Oz Snack Company, makers of potato chips and an assortment of other snack foods. The success of this venture hinges on the launch of a new cheese snack product, Nibblos. Oz Snacks has special significance to Jeff Cousins. Jeff is the general manager of the Smoulder and Blaze agency and stays pretty close to this important piece of business. Not afraid to go back to the coalface, are you, Jeff?
Tim, I spent most of my life in a dark crack in the coalface, but for a piece of business like this, it's a pleasure to come out again.
Is the Nibblos brief a good brief?
It's what we call a professional brief from a product manager.
Okay, by way of a bit of explanation, Nibblos are a bit like the other cheese-flavoured extruded snack foods, except they come in a rather unique range of flavours: Blue Vein, Gouda and Old English Stilton. Well, Bill Proud, you're the marketing manager of Oz Snacks, and the launch of this product pretty much hinges your career. So one could say, Bill, your cheese balls are on the line, son. Have you done your homework?
You bet, Tim. Our pricing is competitive, our packaging is modern and impacting, and we've got terrific distribution across the country in both food stores and milk bars.
Well, Tim, as you can imagine, we're not talking ordinary balls here with this product, and I think the consumer does have a bit of difficulty coming to grips with what are essentially quite unusual flavours. But one thing we do know from research is that if we can actually get them to try them, they love them.
Okay. Well, Bill, your contact, going straight to the top at Smoulder and Blaze, is Jeff Cousins. He's a bloke you've known for years and years and years.
We've got ourselves a national product launch in time for summer. We've got a budget of around $1.5 million, and Jeff, that includes service fee and creative. Because of the demographics and the positioning, I really do believe we should give radio a try.
Jeff, the client thinks, job for radio. You agree with him?
Of course I don't agree with him. No, I've spent years not agreeing with clients. I made a career out of it.
Is there any doubt at all that Nibblos as a new product will succeed?
If we get the target market right, then we get the one specific message that we want to put right, and then we couch it in terms of a brilliant execution, then we'll reduce the doubt.
You've got to now convince these creative people about the use of radio for Nibblos, but first let's just give you a little bit of background. Smoulder and Blaze, with their credo of bigger key number and smaller headline, is without doubt a very creative hot shop of an agency. At the Iceland Advertising Awards, Smoulder and Blaze's creative team of Ted Horton and Susie Chadwick walked away with gold and silver for the best use of colour in a radio campaign. What have you got to brief them about, Jeff?
Well, I'm certainly not going to sit down and try and tell these people to use radio. I've got to give them all the background to the problem at hand, and they're going to come up with the message that we'll put, and then they will help to decide what medium we use.
Being creatives, are you going to have a problem talking them out of television?
I'm not going to have a problem talking into or out of anything. They'll work that out.
This product or any product, radio's not a problem for any product, but I'd like to crack the brief first before I decide what medium I'm going to use.
The idea of consumer loyalty to flavours like this, I think, is very difficult. So you're going to have to convince me that we've got the right product.
Yeah, I've got to say I agree with you, although Julie says the preliminary research says they love the flavours.
Your next step down the line, of course, is to the media director, into his office, another bloke that you've known for years and years and years. You sit him down and ask how the client meeting went and all that.
Well, I've got to say that the one thing that does make radio make a lot of sense in this whole situation is the fact we're going to have to use high frequency. I mean, for these kinds of products where there's not a lot to say factually about the product, frequency, repetition is important.
Well, I've read the brief, Jeff, same as you have, and yes, I think that's one of the key issues. There's one thing for certain, radio can certainly deliver that demographic exceptionally well. The target audience is also fairly inexpensive to reach, and that is going to create frequency for us. So yes, I think I'm pretty much on board with radio. The schedule that we're looking at, I'd say, would be able to deliver something like 5 or 6 impacts a week on average, and I think that's pretty good.
There's a fellow over here who can help us with all of this planning and research data, JOCK KELSO, the manager of 30 by 30. How can the Nibblos buy be made better?
Well, radio can buy better, and radio can do a better job for Nibblos. by influencing the shoppers probably in the last 2 hours before they actually go into the retail outlet. We should be looking at breakfast, drive, weekend day placement towards the latter part of the week so that we can get the younger kids, the 18 to 24s and the young mums out there buying the product at the normal retail end of the week as well as on weekends.
What about a couple of extra summer promotions?
There's a lot of promotions out there and an awful lot that can suit the product. They're all providing extra credits, recorded pointers and ways that we can, again, increase the frequency for the product.
We're 6 weeks away from launching Nibblos right across Australia. How's your agency coping, Jeff?
I think our line is the creative's coming along nicely.
Could do another couple of days.
No way, son, no way.
It's like we go with the jingle.
I was hungry and it rattled my brain. What flavor cheese bowl will I try today? Didn't feel like still no Gouda plain, so I settled on the Nibblo with the taste of blue vein. What do you think so far? It's good. Just like the cheese balls that my mother cooked. Tastes fine, they're mine. Try the cabana enchilada of 89.
Any print idea?
Through the lyrics, I was hungry and I rattled my brain. Hungry, it's the problem. Rattled my brain. Think, what do I eat? What flavour cheese ball? Product description. Will I try today?
Now, today is a very urgent thing to say. We know today works well in
Now,
headlines.
it's close to
It is.
now.
It's
And it
a
also
now
says
now.
about availability.
Yes, it does.
Didn't feel like the Stilton or Gouda plain, so I settled on the Nibblo with the taste of blue vein.
Well, that's variety and range in just one sentence.
That's right.
It's a spectrum of flavour here.
That's right. And then we go, it's good.
Consumer promise.
And also it's a demo taste test because you could do it, yummy, 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 it's good. You could actually
And
change that if you
reward.
wanted to. You know.
Oh, now I hear that
reward.
part, I'm more relaxed about it.
Yeah, just like the cheese balls that my mother cooked. Well, I mean, we couldn't really write a song without putting that in. I mean, that's the warmth, the heritage.
That's right.
Back home and
It's-
sort of a bit home cooking.
Reassurance.
Tastes fine. They're mine. Promise. Ownership. Ownership, very big thing. Try the cabana enchilada of 89. Try.
Call to action. Ask them for the purchase.
Cabana, appealing to that ethnic market. Enchilada, Heartland Australia.
Absolutely.
This
A now
year's.
product.
It's a now product.
Yeah.
Contemporary.
Bill Proud has developed cold feet. So with having some cold feet, he needs some research information. So he goes along to Julie from Instinct and
The
Hunch.
creative idea, I guess, lacks a little something, which probably means it'll work, really. But, you know, you're looking at a pretty solid campaign here, but I think, again, you've got to really take into account that these things can fail. I mean, they rest on the whim of a consumer, really, and you can't afford to do anything but really hit them over the head with it.
Well, as we approach the launch day, or as the agency is calling it, Crunch Day, the staff of Oz Snacks and Smoulder and Blaze hold their breath in anticipation as Nibblos, those big balls of cheesy yellow fun, roll out across the country. Approximately 65% of the target audience hear the commercials around 4 or 5 times in the first week. This figure rises to about 80% hearing it a staggering 15 to 16 times in the first burst. But is it working? Well, I'm pleased to say the sales figures are through the roof. They celebrate at Mario's. But between courses, Jeff takes a phone call. Oz Snacks have sold their share of the business back to the Americans, who've already aligned themselves worldwide with Reedham and Weep, Smoulder and Blaze's arch rivals. The news is obviously devastating, but not only that. On Christmas Eve, the entire creative team, half the account service team, and 4 members of the media department are fired. Their golden handshake, a lifetime supply of Nibblos.
Fate worse than death.
Oh, well, that's advertising.
I don't understand this. I've never been fired by a client. What are you talking about? It's ridiculous. Made $1.5 million, you know, I'll pick it up before breakfast tomorrow morning.
Yeah, Bill. Yeah, well, we've still got an agency.
He flicked them.
Yeah, I can still spend the money. You should have invited me to lunch, you see.
Do they still have an agency in Melbourne? That's the next question.
Can they nominate the flavours?
That's